What's up, YouTube? Today we're gonna be working on the ZL1, and we will be installing the 15-inch conversion kit from Carlyle. So it comes with the smaller rotors and smaller calipers, and also comes with the upper and lower control arms. So let me show you guys what we have. This is what comes in the box: wood calipers, and then 2 rotors, and then these are the control arms. So let me jack up the car and then remove the wheels, and we'll get to it real quick. Okay, now with the wheel removed, we can see all the control arms are going to be replaced. It's this one right here all the way in the back, and then these 3 right here. So I'll show you guys what came in the kit. So this is what we have. It's 2 of these. These are like, I laid them down shortest to longest. So alright, so we're gonna start off by removing this line right here. Hopefully I'm able to remove it out of the clip. I'm trying to remove it from here. There. Get that back in place. And then we will be removing this 18mm bolt. And then back here, I think I'm gonna have to get the wrench on this side and then do it with a ratchet on that side. Okay, so since we removed this bolt right here, the nut was on the front side of the bolt. So what we're gonna do is there's no other way to get to that bolt back there, so we'll be putting this back, and then I'm gonna remove this line from here, and hopefully that gives us enough clearance to remove the other nut and bolt back there. Showing the other side, and then see if this gives us enough clearance to get the wrench in here and turn it. Okay, so I was able to get it out like that, remove the front bolt, push the control arm out of the way a little bit, and then get it in there with the wrench, and then try it with the ratchet or something on this end, and then just work your way around the control arm a little bit. But we pulled it out, so I measured it, and it measures 13.5, and then I measured this one. This one measures about 12 or 12.5, and then this one measures roughly 13.5. I'm gonna have to remeasure this one so we can see which control arm goes on top. I know this one for a fact is the longest one, the one back here. Okay, so I have them over here at the bench now. So it's between these 2 and this one. Seems about right. Yeah, so I think it's gonna be this one right here, because this is like the closest one to its size. This one's a little too long. Measure bolt hole to bolt hole. This one's a little longer. And this one's a little bit shorter, but I think this one's gonna work. And then this one is the one that goes up here, and then this is the lower front one, I believe. So let me, oh, and also what we're gonna do, we're gonna measure from here to here, try to get it as centered as possible, and then we're gonna match the center of these holes to this arm before we throw it in, just so it could be closest to the alignment as possible. So let me get to that real quick, and then we'll throw this on the car right now. This top arm is the smallest one, so I brought the smallest tubular arm, and I'm gonna measure. It measures about 11 3/4 from bolt hole to bolt hole, and then we'll throw this one back on. Okay, I got the control arm in. It was kind of difficult, but you could rotate the whole wheel assembly to one side and then kind of get this bolt in. And we just tapped it in a little bit with the hammer, with that small hammer. So now we're gonna go to this lower one. Then I'm gonna start with this front bolt, and then do that back bolt, and then we'll remove that and replace that with the controller. And then this rear control arm, I was seeing that it has an alignment tab right there, so I'm gonna use a Sharpie and just draw a line through it just so we can put it back to where it was. And then on this side, I'll show you the bolt that comes with the control arm so it can clear the wheel. Okay, so we got the rear control arm on. So the fat spacer, there's two spacers. There's skinny ones that go up here in the front, and then the thicker ones go in the back. And we put the alignment bolt. Nothing is tight, not even these lock nuts. So what we're gonna do right now is do the caliper. Once the caliper's in and everything, we see that everything's in the right way, then we'll tighten everything down to torque spec. And then for this line, we're just gonna use the zip ties, 2 zip ties, one right here in the front and one up there in the back. We started removing these 2 18mm bolts for the caliper. There's one down here and there's one up here, and these are on there really tight because they even have Loctite on them, so it's kind of hard to remove them, but we were able to get the impact on the top one but not the bottom one. So we're gonna remove these and then we're gonna set the caliper off to the side to get the rotor out. Okay, so we got both bolts out and we put them back on the caliper. So you can see some of the thread locker. And now for the rotor, this is a Torx 30. T30. I have to hit the rotor a little bit to get it to break loose. Let me go get the hammer and we'll tap it out. So we were hitting this last night with the big ass hammer, but we forgot that the parking brakes are on. So let me turn them on. All right, so now the rotor is off. Let me slide on the new rotor. Now that we have the rotor mounted, we just torque, well, we didn't really torque this, we just tightened it a little bit. And now the rotor is on there. There's some numbers right here, I'll show you guys in a bit. And these are the calipers that come with it. They come with the brake pads. So we're gonna remove the brake pads right now. We're gonna remove this bolt. There's a washer, and then there's this like spacer. We're gonna pull this out. Let's see. There's the spacer, just slides off. Then you can slide out the brake pads. And I don't think there's a left or right side because it doesn't say anything in the instructions, and it actually has 2 bleeding bolts, one on top and one on the bottom. So I guess if you face it like this, you're gonna bleed it from here, and if you put it on the other side, you're gonna bleed it from this one. So it also comes with new mounting bolts because these have to be replaced once they're removed. So this is the hardware it comes with. It comes with the washer and the bolt. It also comes with the new Banjo Bolt and the copper washers. Oh, and also the control arm bolts do have to be replaced. That's the only thing that we are missing in this kit. The kit does not include the new bolts for the control arms. I think it would be pretty cool if they would include those. So I'm gonna try to remove this and put it on the side. I'm gonna put something here so I could just let it hang. Ran into a little issue. The caliper doesn't sit in all the way back here because of the dust shield, so we do have to trim the bottom a bit. I'm gonna try to get the caliper on there and kind of mark it where it needs to be cut. Then we will remove this again and then cut it with the cutoff wheel or something. So let me do that off of camera and then I'll show you guys how much we chopped off. Alright, so I kind of have the caliper mocked up and that top bolt is in, but this one isn't. So as you can see, it's just that little corner. So I'm gonna try to make a straight line right here, just enough to clear it, and then we'll put the rotor back on. So we're having another little issue. The kit comes with the bolts and the washers. We were thinking that they had to go like this, but I don't know if they're spacers. When you put the bolt all the way in, it hits the rotor from back here. So what we're gonna do is call Carlyle and see what we have to do to get this right. So let me give him a call real quick and then I'll put you guys back on. Oh, and by the way, this is all we cut. This little, we just made it straight and we shot some spray paint on it. Okay, so we're back and they called Carlyle this morning, and I haven't gotten a call back. They said that they were gonna call me back, and I also called Willwood and they didn't know what we were talking about. So I asked the question on Facebook of what people do. Some people cut them and some people just space it out with washers. So I think that's what we're gonna do. We're gonna space it out with washers. I got some washers out and I threw some on here, and that's enough to clear the rotor, and the brake pads seem like they're, well, the caliper looks center and there's almost an even amount of space on either side of the caliper. So what we're gonna do is pull this bolt out and then measure the amount of spacers it needs, and we're gonna run to Home Depot and buy some new washers. Alright, so we're just gonna show you real quick what we're talking about before we go to the store. So we stacked up these 3 washers that we had. One of these, this one, came with the kit, so we know that this is what we need to space it out. So we're getting roughly 1/4. So we're gonna go to Home Depot and either we're gonna try to get one spacer that's 1/4 thick. If not, then we're gonna get 2, I guess. Instead of having all 3 washers, we're just gonna try to have 2 on there. And we're gonna take the bolt just so we can make sure that the bolt actually fits the washer when we're getting the washers. So we'll be back with the washers right now. This is what we ended up doing. We got 3 washers, which give us 1/4 spacing. So I'm gonna put 3 washers on the top and 3 washers on the bottom. We pulled out the bolts again because I forgot to put some blue thread locker on them. Just gonna put a little bit. I'm gonna do that for the top and bottom bolt before we torque them down. So now we're gonna do the Banjo Bolt. They give you in the kit a new copper washer, 2 actually. So one goes in first, then we're gonna remove this from this caliper, and then the bolt's gonna go in with the new washer, and then this one's gonna go on the other side of that line, and then we'll bolt it up to the new Willwood calipers. So the Willwood has like a little sticker. Shit. We're gonna try to peel it off, make sure it's clean, it's a clean surface. We're gonna use some brake cleaner to clean that, and then we'll install this. And I think this goes around somewhere around 30 something foot-pounds or inch-pounds. I'm not sure. I'm gonna look it up right now before we put it, and then we'll install the brake line. And then we have these numbers here. I don't know if they'll mean anything to you guys. Maybe you guys can make your own kits. See if I can get this shot. And then once we're done installing this side, we're gonna do the passenger side, but we're not gonna show you guys that side. We'll just get back to you guys once we start bleeding, which we're gonna bleed from this nipple here, but we're gonna start on the passenger rear side. So we'll show you that on that side. Okay, so we found the instructions in one of the caliper boxes. So we're gonna use these torque specs, which say 60 foot-pounds on the caliper mounting bolt with blue Loctite, and on the Banjo Bolt it says 96 to 120 inch-pounds. Do not exceed 144 inch-pounds. So that's what we're gonna do to the caliper bolts. Alright, so we're done on the passenger side. I tightened all the jam nuts, put the zip ties, I put all the nuts and bolts. I tightened them, I just didn't torque them. I put this line back in, and we're not gonna bleed it because we are gonna get one more piece before we actually put the wheels back on. But I'm gonna show you guys what it's gonna look like with the 15s. So that's it. I think we're gonna have to get some different lug nuts, but it's a really tight fit. I don't know if you guys can see. Shit. So we are gonna get some new lug nuts, because they're gonna have to be super skinny lug nuts to fit in here. And yeah, so we have the center caps. We just didn't put them on right now, but hope you guys enjoyed this little install video. We are, like I said, we are gonna torque all the control arms down. We just ordered new bolts because these are only a one-time use bolts for all these control arms, so there's no reason to put the new ones on and then torque them and then take them to get aligned. They're gonna have to, you know, remove the bolts in order to adjust the arms. So we just decided to get it aligned. Once it's aligned, we're gonna put the new bolts and torque them all down. And then next video, we're probably gonna assemble these wheels. We do have the tires, so make sure you stay tuned for that. Like always, like, share, subscribe, leave a comment down below, and follow us on Instagram at Yonke_OXC Films. I'll leave that in the description down below, and we'll catch you on the next one.